Well, I suppose I should preface this by telling you my hero, Testes, a sort of modern-day werewolf, is out to gain immortality by creating as much progeny as he can. He'll make love to any woman in the hopes of impregnating her. At this point, he's fathered 173 children.
Quite a potent guy.
Junk Food Dinner 698. Your boys are back with 3 truly strange films. First, Elvis gets a job at a beauty spa and makes all the ladies swoon in Tickle Me. Next, 2 entertainers get lost in a spooky mansion full of monsters in Diva in the Netherworld. Finally, a man's obsession with a medical doll goes too far in Pin.
Goodbye, dum-dum.
Welcome to Junk Food Dinner, episode 698. This is the podcast where each month we scour the internet, the theaters, and the bargain bins, searching for the weirdest and wildest cult films. In Ohio, I am Kevin Moss, and I'm joined by my California co-host Parker Bowman in the 559 and Sean Byron in LA. This month, we have a unique blend of goofy, spooky, creepy, and weird as we take a look at Tickle Me from 1965, Diva in the Netherworld from 1980, and Pin from 1988. But first, gentlemen, how is everything going on this beautiful April evening?
It's going great, Kevin Moss, because for the second year in a row, I think both Bowman and I made our annual WrestleMania weekend journeys to the desert to avoid the actual WrestleMania, but to be entertained nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. Nice. What were you guys doing out in the desert? Were you meeting up in real IRL, as the kids say?
You know, you would think that would be what would have happened, seeing that I did reach out to Bowman and offer him, accommodations alongside me to enjoy some of the greatest pro wrestling that Las Vegas has to offer, but I guess Less Than Jake was playing in the desert or something.
Well, yeah,
okay.
That's true. Well, yeah, I mean, I should have gone to the wrestling, but I impulsively...
Just for people that maybe didn't listen last year, this is counter-program independent wrestling that's happening in Las Vegas the weekend of WrestleMania.
Yeah, basically for the second year in a row, WrestleMania is in Vegas. And so whenever WrestleMania is anywhere, wherever that is, all these other indie shows bubble up around it. And yeah, for me this year, it was New Japan's Death Vegas show was probably the big driver that brought us out there, because my wife is obsessed with Jun Kasai, Crazy Monkey. She wanted to see him deploy his fluorescent light tubes against people. So we saw that. We saw Marvelous, because I'm obsessed with Chigusa Nagayo and Aja Kong. And
obviously.
Stardom. Yeah, well, obviously, right? I mean, who's not a Crush Gals fan in 2026? And then Stardom, just because we were there. But it was fun to see 3 wrestling shows within a 36-hour period. We were back home. So,
all right. And so, Bowman, you were also in Vegas.
Well, you would think.
Yeah, no,
most of the way there.
Yeah, I made it halfway there. I ditched out on Sean. I declined his offer to enjoy wrestling in Las Vegas, and instead I went and celebrated the one true art form, ska punk, in Pioneer Town. I went to Pappy and Harriet's to see the band Less Than Jake.
All right. Now, are these guys back together? Is this a big reunion thing, or have they been going this whole time?
Oh, they've been going the whole time. Nothing can stop this train once you're on it.
Wow. How many original members in Less Than Jake?
I think at least 3.
Including Jake?
5. Yeah. Well, no, not him.
Oh, Jake's gone.
Yeah. That's why they're Less Than Jake. I mean, he left the band. He was the best one.
God damn. All right. Well, still not a bad ratio there.
Now, I don't remember. I remember the band name Less Than Jake, but how different are they from, let's say, Lagwagon?
Pretty different. They're sort of like if Lagwagon was poppier and had more metal guitars, but also had like a saxophone guy and a trombone guy that danced around.
Okay, so we're getting into real big fish territory here.
Yeah, but like a little bit more metal. Well, actually, Real Big Fish is kind of metal. They got like all those guitar riffs that are pretty metal. Yeah, but I would say yeah. Like,
why do they rock so hard era Real Big Fish?
Yeah, you could definitely throw Real Big Fish, Less Than Jake, Goldfinger, and the Aquabats onto a festival bill, and they would all make a lot of sense together. It's like that kind of
okay, gotcha.
But not Streetlight Manifesto. That's a completely different scene.
I'm not throwing that on any kind of bill. No.
Good.
I don't fuck with that. Not at all.
That's good.
But more importantly, really more your guys' speed, something I did. I went to a drive-in movie theater, Kevin. What do you know about these things?
Ooh, beautiful. This was also out in the desert?
Yeah, this was out right outside of the Joshua Tree Park in a little town called 29 Palms, right out in the middle of the desert.
Okay. And what was the name of the drive-in? Do you recall?
Oh, I think it's the Smith's Ranch Drive-In. It's something ranch.
Correct.
Yeah, Smith's Ranch.
Not the Spawn Ranch.
Not the Spawn Ranch, no. But they were actually celebrating their 70th anniversary the weekend I was there, which is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. This place looks awesome. It looks like it's cash only, too.
Yeah,
I respect that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a super cool place. Like a very tiny little screen and probably probably one of the smaller drive-ins I've ever been to. If I had to guess, like maybe 200 cars could fit, maybe.
Yeah. And what kind of classic exploitation grindhouse drive-in fare did you soak in?
Oh man, I saw this really hardcore shit that not a lot of people have heard about. It's called the Super Mario Galaxy movie.
Okay.
It was, like I really wanted to go to the drive-in, like.
Yeah.
So
well, that's always the drive-in dilemma because I've been there as well. You're driving, you're in a new part of the country, and you're like, oh shit, they got a drive-in. You're like, I got to check it out, and then you look it up, and it's like Paddington too. Well, I guess I just want to see the snack bar, but I got to take what they're given. I mean, that's the unfortunate reality. Yeah, most drive-ins do have to play, the biggest hits of the day to stay afloat. So.
How was that snack bar, though? Did you get any date shakes, perhaps?
No, they didn't have any date shakes. They did have like home baked cookies. Like I think like the owner's mom or something like bakes cookies. And they had those, which were really good. And like a lot of different flavors and stuff. Like there was like a blueberry one. I've never even seen a blueberry cookie. So that was kind of cool. That was like a cool like hometown sort of thing.
Nice. And out of the 29 Palms, how many did you spot?
I saw each and every one of them.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
I remember that challenge from Highlights magazine. They would always have you identify all 29 palms on the back cover.
Yeah, I would always do that right before I checked out Goofus and Gallant,
Of course.
Goofus is cool. Yeah. But yeah, it was a good one. So that's only the second California drive-in I've been to, but it was a successful one. A successful trip.
Very nice. Well, I always love to hear of drive-in patronage. So, and especially, a cool one out in the desert. That sounds like fun.
Yeah. Yes, I think you'd like it. I think you'd like these desert vibes.
I got to check out that drive-in sometime. Although I fear its proximity to Bojangles is probably, leaving something to be desired, right? You didn't see any Bojangles out there.
I saw one Bojangles in the city of Bojangles.
Oh, Bojangles, California?
Bojangles, California.
Yeah. I've been there before. I had never had Bojangles, but I did want to shout out Bojangles, which I just had for the first time in Las Vegas, Nevada. Pretty damn good, man. I mean, if you're comparing it to like KFC, Church's Chicken, all those Popeyes, I think it's better than all those guys. Better than Chick-fil-A or Raising Cane's, which I kind of hate.
Yeah.
That was real nice.
Yeah, like I said, I've only had it a couple times when road tripping down south. I usually think about it as like a southern location, so it's interesting to hear that they have a Vegas presence. But
yeah, Vegas has kind of become like a hub for all these like distant fast food chains. You can get a White Castle, you can get a Whataburger, all these things that are not available in California. if you trek out to Vegas, in this case, I had to trek out to that funny plaza by the Alexis Park Hotel that is all like super neon versions of like real budget ass chains. So it's like a big Sbarro, a big 7-Eleven, and a big El Pollo Loco next to this Bojangles, but they're all like adorned in the most fancy ass like neon signage, and they look all like futuristic almost, but it's just a fucking Sbarro's. But in the case of Bojangles, justified. I loved it.
What did you get from the Bojangles menu?
Just your typical number one combo, which is the breaded chicken breast on a biscuit with some sweet tea and those like hash brown things that they make, little like hash brown pucks that are really good.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I've heard the breakfast is good too. If you like a big fucking greasy breakfast to start your day.
We were in there at like I think before 11 a.m. This place I think is open from like 6 a.m. to like 4 a.m. or something. It's like one of those deals where they like barely take a break. So it was nice and convenient.
Very nice. Yeah, I'll have to, like I said, it's been years since I've had it. So I'll have to revisit next time I'm south of the border.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they make their way out here. It seems like everybody else has been expanding to California. So maybe they will as well, because I could see myself doing some damage there.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Sean gives a thumbs up to Bojangles.
Yeah. Oh, and WrestleMania weekend for, indie wrestling. Big thumbs up. I recommend anybody who's, interested in wrestling, check that out if it's going to be near you sometime. It's been fun that it was 2 years in a row in Vegas. Probably next year it's going to be somewhere far-flung that I won't get to, but it was great.
Oh, you think it's just Vegas for indefinitely now?
I hope so.
Yeah, we were talking about this a little bit the other day, but yeah, I think, I mean, they're not going to go to Saudi Arabia, so they got to go somewhere. I think they'll just.
Why wouldn't they go to Saudi Arabia?
Well, I mean, they're not heartless, fascists like the WWE is, who are going to Saudi Arabia.
I see what you're saying. The indie shows aren't going to.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So they'll need somewhere to go if WWE is in fact going to Saudi Arabia, which I don't. Is that for sure? I thought it was for sure, and then I read something today that like Nashville is trying to get next year's so I don't even know anymore, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't. I
mean,
should
just have it at Mar-a-Lago going forward, right?
Just have it on the White House lawn like that UFC fight.
Yeah,
yeah. That's right.
Giant
that's what
new
we're going
ballroom
for.
that they're building with smuggled funds from all of America's CEOs.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Yeah. So did you do anything else fun in Vegas besides the Bojangles and the wrestling?
I think that is pretty much all we had time for in the less than 36 hours that we were there.
Didn't even throw a $20 bill in a slot machine or anything?
No. We did stop by China Mama, which is my pick for best Chinese restaurant in Vegas. If you're ever in Vegas, go to Chinatown. It's not too far from the Strip, and go to China Mama. It is legit.
Didn't want to catch fish at the Sphere or anything?
No.
Was Fish at the Sphere happening while you were there? Was the Strip littered with hippies?
I don't know if it was. Something must have been it. Or I guess they just had that thing all lit up and sparkling all the time anyways. So I don't even know if anything was happening, but I could certainly see the Sphere from most points in Las Vegas.
Okay. And you didn't notice a particular uptick in the hippie population?
No, but it's hard to notice anybody in particular in Vegas because it's just like crammed full of so many people. I was bumping shoulders with Scott Steiner walking down the casino floor, and who else? I saw Dave Meltzer just bumbling around, and all these wrestling luminaries. So I was too focused on that to look for hippies.
Now, when you saw Dave Meltzer, like, and he's walking around, like, how would you rate that on like 1 to 5 stars? Like, just his act of walking and existing.
I mean, that's a 7.5 star walk, if you ask me.
Oh. He must have been doing some flippy shit.
He was doing flippy shit. Yeah, it was great stuff. But no, I mean, it was fun to see Meltzer. I got to admit, what a weird thing to be like, I got a charge from seeing a wrestling journalist walk across a casino floor, but I did. I'm not going to lie to you. And hey, it jazzed me.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear people are getting hyped up to see journalists out there. Gives me hope.
Yeah. Oh, actually, you know who I saw? I saw Mark Henry walk into a men's room, and I'm thinking to myself, boy, man, I'm glad that I'm not in that men's room right now.
He's
Man, it's
making big
big.
poops.
Yeah, that guy was taking some big dumps. You better believe that. So that's the kind of excitement that you can have, Kevin Moss, in Las Vegas. You can see a very large man who used to be known as the world's strongest man walk into a restroom and imagine what size dumps he's taken.
Hey, you could probably gamble on the size of those dumps if you really wanted to.
Yeah, with the Kalshi and the prediction markets that we've got going these days, you better believe I was doing that.
There you go. Well, very nice. Well, I was glad to hear you guys are getting out there, leaving the comforts of your homes for the harsh desert.
Yeah.
But yeah, nice.
What about you, Kevin Moss? You've been venturing outside as well? I would imagine that you're the kind of man that goes outside for entertainment now and again.
Mm-hmm.
I go outside for entertainment a lot. Yeah, I'm going to Detroit next week. You got any hot tips what to do in Detroit Rock City?
Well, they got this pizza joint called Little Caesars that I recommend.
The arena's named after it.
Will you
It
see
must
a
be
baseball
good.
game?
You know, the Tigers are in town. I forget who they're playing. Nobody I give a shit about. But yeah, I might check out the park.
Oh, you're not boycotting now that they've fucked up the park by putting grass where there should be dirt in between the pitcher's mound and home plate?
Oh, I haven't been following this controversy.
Yeah, they did that. That was the last park that still had the old school, dirt path between the pitcher and the batter. They got rid of it last year.
Well, yep. Now I'll never go there.
All right.
But yeah, no, I'll probably go see that RoboCop statue and
Oh yeah.
have a chili dog or two. So I'll come back with a full report next month of my adventures in Motor City.
Conies, they call them there, right?
Sure do. No cheese on them.
What about onions?
Oh, so many onions.
Okay. But they're grilled, right? They're not like these diced raw onions that only a maniac would put on their dog.
That's a good question. We'll find out. I'll give you the skinny.
I'm trying to bait Bowman there with that.
Yeah.
Bowman, you like the raw onion?
Oh, baby, I love it raw,
That's I mean,
like it a great deal.
If it's doused in chili, I mean, who's going to notice? But I agree. Normally, a raw ass onion is pretty rough.
It's too disruptive, and it's not even about the flavor. It's that texture.
Mm-hmm. And not only that, like if you get a burger, a lot of times they'll just throw in, you're expecting a couple like rings of onion. It's just like a whole slab of it. It's just too much.
And
that's too
cold,
crazy.
and now my meat's getting wet and cold. That's not what I want from my meat.
Yeah, that's no good. But if you're dicing them up, you throw them in a slap chop, that's fine. That's good. Little bite-sized little onion, guys. I got a slap chop.
Oh, wow. Like an original?
Oh, yeah. I was an OG adopter.
Damn, dude. That's awesome.
I said, this shit looks fun.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm still chopping mine the old-fashioned way. What a fool.
Man, how many fingers do you have left?
All of them, baby.
Damn, dude. You got some skills, because I've seen these commercials for the slap chop. I feel like it's the number one risk in America is onion-related finger injuries.
Yeah. It makes you cry,
But yeah, other than that, just been seeing some weirdo movies in the theaters. I saw our favorite, fresh off the heels of Papi Gudia, I saw JFD favorite Mahakal on the big screen.
Oh.
The Indian Bollywood Nightmare on Elm Street ripoff.
Okay, so during our review of Papi Gudia, I think you made the assertion that it was very similar to Mahakal, but
yes.
It had probably been a decade since we had seen it. So what do you say now?
I still say very similar, just in theme, tone, and I mean, obviously, I think, no disrespect to the Papi, but I think Mahakal's a far superior film.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But
fighting words amongst, Papi Gudia enthusiasts.
But no, it was a lot of fun and a fun one to see with a crowd for sure. Laughing at the weird Michael Jackson guy and all his weird different characters, and it was a lot lot.
I can't remember whether or not there was a lot of music in Mahakal.
Oh yeah, there is. I mean,
go back to it.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours and 15 minutes, and like I want to say a third of that runtime is musical numbers, but those were good times to get up, go get another beer or something. So,
you don't like the musical numbers?
I mean, some of them were okay, but for the most part, they feel like padding.
I got bad news about 2 of our movies this week then.
Well, we'll see. We can talk about the musical numbers in a couple of these, but I could go either way. Sometimes I like a musical number. But
Yeah.
Other than that, just I need to get out. I need to see more new movies. I feel like I've been prioritizing the repertory cinema, which I love, and it's hard to pass up because there's so much cool stuff playing all the time. But I feel like it's cutting into my seeing new movies budget. But most new movies suck, so.
Yeah. Well, you got to get out and see that Mario Galaxy, though.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
You guys see that Faces of Death yet? That new Faces of Death?
No, fuck no.
You say no way, Jose?
I don't know. It just seems like such a dumb idea to me. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what I did watch. I watched the new Blu-ray of The Stoned Age on 420.
Oh, now that sounds like a great idea.
That was fun. I did realize, though, watching it on 420, that for a movie called The Stone Age, pot is only smoked once in the film, and it doesn't happen until the fucking hour-minute mark. It's pretty nuts.
That is really weird.
Yeah, you think about that movie, and you think, weed is referenced throughout, but the actual only smoking of weed only happens once, and it's an hour in.
I guess it was like that before. What was it? Was it, I don't know, was it like one of the, it's like Super Jaime, or like, what was the movie where it was like, now suddenly we can see weed on screen? Because there's a lot of, like, the Kevin Smith movies, I don't think, like Mallrats, like, anybody smokes weed at all in that, right? But you think of it, it kind of is like a stoner comedy.
Yeah, that was before Kevin Smith became like a huge stoner. So like, it's just kind of like subtext, I think, for like you see like Jay and Silent Bob sell it, but yeah, like those movies weren't big on stoner comedy until much later when Kevin Smith became a stoner at the age of 45.
I mean, obviously, like Cheech and Chong are blazing on screen, but other than them, it's like a whole lot of stoner comedies or things that would be lumped in. You know, nobody's blazing up in Wayne's World, right? Like, but you kind of maybe think of it as a stoner comedy.
I mean, Half Baked, I think, is the obvious thing. There's a lot of weed smoking in that too.
Yeah, Half Baked, Dazed and Confused has some,
a lot.
Yeah, and then
I think good amount.
Yeah, there's a good amount in there, but it's not like. It's like more like realistic, I guess. It's not like super half-baked-y or Cheech and Chong-y. Mm-hmm. But there is a lot in there. And then also, I think Pineapple Express kind of is maybe the one that like blew the doors open.
I think that's exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Speaking of Dazed and Confused, I found out watching some of the special features that, because you always think of the Stoned Age, a lot of people compare it to like a second-rate Dazed and Confused because similar things, it takes place in the 70s. It's a 70s hangout movie with like stoners. It's got a similar kind of soundtrack. But Stone Age actually came out first. Came out the same year, but it came out a few months ahead of it. So, there you go.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That Stone Age is ahead of its time. It's a classic masterpiece.
Yeah. Good times. Yeah. If you, like I said, Lionsgate put out that new Vestron video Blu-ray version of it. It looks good. It's never going to look amazing, but yeah, it looks good for what it is. And there's some cool special features. Some of the cast reunites and they talk about the movie. So that's fun to watch.
Well, in honor of 420, can we do the old movies for young stoners thing and have you tell me what strain of weed you smoked while you're watching The Stoned Age?
Yeah. It's just this Ohio-based weed company called Matter.
Okay. Well,
that's all that matters. Yeah, shout out to Matter. You would say
it was a good accompaniment.
Yeah. It's weed. It gets you high.
Yeah.
It works.
Well, shout out to old movies for young stoners.
There you go. Yeah, I need to also, in addition to diversifying the types of movies I'm watching, I got to diversify my weed. I've never been much of a vapesman. I don't really like, edibles are fun, but they're just a little too unpredictable for me. You're a jointsman, right? I'm a joints and bowlsman, the old fashioned,
I love
the old ways.
It feels so wasteful, you're just burning out tons of weed and, it's definitely evaporating more quickly than I can ingest all of it when I'm doing a joint. But I just love it. I love it, man. The freedom.
Joints are great for when you're, out and about. But at home, I usually go, glass bowl.
You're smoking your weeds indoors mostly, right?
A lot of time, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a different scene.
Smoking a joint inside is like smoking a cigarette inside. It can the burning paper can stink up the house.
Yeah, well, and just the nonstop, kind of pace of it. But
yeah,
I'm smoking outdoors here in California. You know how we roll.
Sure.
We got that sunshine.
Yeah, you're starting wildfires left and right.
It was me. It was not SoCal Edison. It was me.
Right. All right. Well, very nice. No voicemails this month, so shame on you, listeners. Give us a call. Let us know what you thought of the new Faces of Death and how you usually consume your weed and what weed you consumed when you went and saw Faces of Death. But yeah, you can do that by giving us a call on the Junk Food Dinner voicemail line at 347-746-JUNK. Pick up the phone, give us a call, let your voice be heard. All right, that being said, let's get into some nerd news.
From the global resources of junk food dinner worldwide, it's time for Nerd News.
The first piece of nerd news that I have is that a trailer has dropped for the long-awaited Coyote versus Acme film, and we have a release date, August 28th, 2026. You will finally be able to see the movie that Warner Brothers shelved for reasons and has been much talked about and was eventually purchased by Ketchup Entertainment, the folks that put out the Day the Earth Blew Up, the Porky Pig, Daffy Duck modern Looney Tunes movie that came out, I think, last year, right? To pretty nice fanfare. So, in addition, they are going to be releasing this Coyote versus Acme in theaters. This is a live-action animation hybrid about Wile E. Coyote taking the Acme Corporation to court over their fraudulent claims and wasted money. This was originally based, I guess, on a New Yorker magazine article by Ian Fraser from 1990. And yeah, I don't know. I think it looks like a lot of fun. I've been waiting to see this. It sounds like a fun concept. It's got Will Forte in it and John Cena, wrestling's own John Cena, which I'm a little less psyched about than Will Forte. But nevertheless, it's got, Wile E. Coyote. Looks like Foghorn Leghorn might play a prominent role in this. So anyway, I love the Looney Tunes stuff. I like a lot of people think Warner Brothers has been pretty, I don't know, less than generous with its Looney Tunes properties as of late, especially in this case, shelving this for a long period of time and never planning on releasing it until good old Ketchup Entertainment decided to step in. But yeah, I'm psyched to see this. I could easily see myself, getting some local THC and going in on a Saturday morning and enjoying the antics of Coyote versus Acme. But did you guys see this trailer? Did you have any interest in checking this out?
Seems like this could be a new movie for a old stoner, I guess.
That's right. Yeah.
I saw the trailer. Trailer looked fun. I've been kind of mildly interested in this since I first heard of it. I think probably the Roadrunner and Coyote cartoons are my favorite Looney Tunes overall.
Really? That's a bold statement.
Yeah, I feel like they're just kind of like the purest expression of Looney Tunes antics, right? Like there's very little language or need for it. It's just pure violence in creative ways, that escalate throughout the cartoon. A little bummed, although it's inherent to, the format, a little bummed that the environments are live action rather than animated. Because I love those Maurice Noble backgrounds in the original Chuck Jones cartoons.
Well, and who knows, we might get a little bit of that.
Yeah, maybe we will. I thought the figure animation on Coyote and Roadrunner looked good in what I saw. So, yeah, this should be fun. Will Forte's funny. Hopefully it's good. It's weird. It's crazy. It's it's been 4 years since they finished shooting this. So I don't know. Will Will it seem like a movie from a different time? Maybe not, because it's it's just a cartoon comedy type thing, anyways. So.
Right.
What do you think, Bowman? You see this?
Well, I haven't watched the trailer yet, but I mean, I'll probably check this out. I didn't see the space one last year. I still haven't seen it, although I kind of wanted to. It didn't play in theaters very long.
This looks very, very different than that.
Yes.
The Space Jam thing was for kids. I think this is
I'm not talking about not the day the Earth blew up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see that either. No.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I saw that in the theater. I had a good time with it.
That's the one that's like fully animated, but it's kind of animated in that newish style.
Yeah, it kind of had a Ren and Stimpy style almost.
Okay. Spumco-esque.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to see that. I did see Space Jam 2. It was fine, I guess.
No, that sucked dick. Come on, don't be crazy.
I kind of don't remember it. I just remember the penguin from Batman Returns being in it.
We got James Gunn on this one as a producer and co-writer or story by.
Oh yeah. So that's interesting. That's
something.
I really hope this does well, because all I've been seeing on like Twitter and Letterboxd for the last 4 years is like, oh my God, how could Warner Brothers be so evil to shelve this fucking movie? And I think that was probably a lot louder than the general, enthusiasm for a movie like this would warrant. Like, I think it's a lot of people bitching over nothing, like people bitching like to advocate for a movie that they would not otherwise give a shit about. So I really hope that this movie proves me wrong and people go out and fucking make it a blockbuster success. Otherwise I'll be like very pessimistic about any, grassroots Twitter, give us this movie we clamor for movements in the future.
Well,
But,
I also think there's a pretty big cult of nerds that love Will Forte. I'm not joking. Like, there are people that'll show up for the Forte.
I don't know. I think maybe if you've seen every Bill Hader movie and every Ed Helms movie and every John Krasinski movie, then you go to a Will Forte movie. But I don't know. Do people really like this guy?
You're putting John Krasinski in that
I
category?
know. Come on, get real.
Hater was one thing, but damn, dude.
He's funny. Krasinski's funny.
No, he sucks.
But my take is like Warner Brothers has made zero correct decisions in the past, 5+ years. So I would imagine this is great. It's probably going to be the most incredible movie of all time. It's going to be like a Yankee Hotel Foxtrot situation where this goes down as, one of the most critically lauded pieces of media ever. And Warner's looks like idiots.
Well, yeah. Hopefully, that's another reason to hope for its success, is to prove that Warner Brothers is a bunch of jokers
that released that movie, The Joker.
Yeah.
The only other piece of nerd news that I wanted to bring up real quick is that the 1989 French movie Marquis is finally getting a Blu-ray release from Mondo Macabre. This has never had a disc release, DVD or otherwise, in the United States. We did it on this show a long time ago. It's a very weird movie, loosely based on the Marquis de Sade. Everybody in the movie is like an animal. They wear these weird animal/human like hybrid masks. And the Marquis de Sade has a relationship with his penis, which is anthropomorphized and puppetized. And if you like weird puppety penis movies that are French and weird and loosely based on the Marquis de Sade, it is a real head scratcher. But it is visually unlike anything else I've ever seen. A movie that, I feel like was talked about in hushed tones back in the VHS era. And, every so often you would see stills of it online and be like, what the fuck is this? But yeah, if you like weirdness, Marquis is one of them. But like I said, Mondo Macabre putting it out on Blu-ray on May 7th, so just a few weeks away is when the pre-order goes live. So I might check this out, or at least, maybe find to see how the transfer is, because when it comes to penis puppets, they have to be in HD for me, or nothing else will do. But what about you guys? Do you guys remember this Marquis movie at all?
I do. I remember it being very weird and very French, but also being maybe like more of an actual movie than Meet the Feebles, which is maybe the closest analog I can think of in terms of like pornographic puppetry. Or Let My Puppets Come, I guess. It's also kind of in that vein.
Yeah.
But
this would make a great double feature or triple feature with those.
Yeah, totally. And I feel like it, kind of makes me a little bit proud of humanity that we've reached this point where, we're finally addressing the true priorities of getting pixels to all the French puppet porno movies ever made. So, Good job. Oh, and I've got a clip from it.
Tickle my dick with a feather.
No, come on. That wasn't even in French.
Yeah. You're thinking about this. I've got a clip from it.
If you don't do what we say, Charlotte's here and it now, not you.
I guess that was English too. But yeah, I remember this movie clearly because I love it. Puppets and penises and Marquis de Sade, all of that's in my wheelhouse. So yeah, if memory serves, I picked this for the show. But yeah, I'm glad that it's getting a Blu-ray. I'll probably buy it. I know that friend of the show, Justin's probably excited about this. I know he likes this movie because he's a weirdo like me. So yeah, this is exciting news.
I like those guys.
Exactly. Speaking of liking guys, I got a story here tangentially about a guy we all like.
Okay.
The Evil Dead Burn trailer came out this week. This is the new Evil Dead movie. What is it, like the sixth one? It's coming out in July, and Mum has kind of been the word on it in terms of what it's about and what's going on in it. And after seeing the trailer, Mum is still pretty much the word, I think. The teaser trailer didn't have a whole lot going on. This is a new trend with trailers that I don't particularly like, where they just kind of show you like part of a scene.
Yeah.
Final Destination did that too, but I thought it worked in that case for some reason.
Yeah.
It kind of works. It works with Final Destination just because of like how those movies work. But the new Scream movie did it too. Like it was kind of like just like a truncated version of the opening scene of that movie, and I didn't like it there either. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, this kind of looks like an Evil Dead movie.
Well, it kind of does, but it's just happening now in the suburbs, it looked like. Like I always thought the conceit of Evil Dead was that it was, to quote Sam Raimi, within the woods. But now it's just like anywhere?
Yeah. Well, the last one took place in an apartment building.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. I haven't seen that one.
I like that one. I mean, not for nothing, but one of them took place in a fucking castle. So I think that they can take place in other places.
Well, and they were smart enough not to use the Evil Dead title on that one.
No, it's called The Medieval Dead. That's the real name of that movie. True heads know that that's the real name.
Fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm fine with them moving it to places. It's like, as long as it's like, I mean, the cabin is cool and everything, but what else can you do with Evil Dead and a Cabin in the Woods that Sam Raimi didn't already do? Like, I mean, I think we learned that from the first remake is like, you're not going to top anything Sam Raimi has ever done in his whole life. So don't try.
So what makes this an Evil Dead movie though, then versus just being any other zombie movie? Like, why wouldn't this just be 28 decades later or whatever the hell?
Well, because the Deadites aren't zombies, for one, Sean Byron.
Well, come on. They pretty much are.
No. They're a whole different family of monster. That's the one thing. And in the book, I mean, the Necronomicon, witchcraft and shit, So I don't know. I mean, I don't want to defend this too hard because I haven't seen it, but I'm fine with them moving things around and shifting things. It's like I think you have to. If you don't have Bruce Campbell and you're not Sam Raimi, yeah, you can play around with it. You can do a little stuff. One thing I do like about all these movies, even that one that I didn't care for, is that Sam Raimi's kind of just like picking like directors that have only made like one or two movies to do these new installments. Like they're already working on the next one. And I think that's cool. I like Like I like that Sam Raimi's kind of like picking guys he likes to kind of keep his thing alive. I think that's fun. But so, I mean, I'm obviously going to see this, but this trailer doesn't do a whole lot for me. What do you guys think?
Trailer didn't do much for me. Hopefully Sam Raimi is involved. I guess I don't know that for a fact. Do you know that for a fact? Like, has this title just been sold off to another entity that's whoring it out, or is Sam Raimi actually involved in these productions?
He is the producer, and I believe he's the guy who's picking the directors of all of them.
I feel like producer can mean any number of things when you're dealing with a legacy property like this. That could mean just a paycheck, but hopefully that's the case.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's done by him and Rob Tabert's production company, Ghost House Pictures. So I feel like he's pretty involved.
Okay, I love Sam Raimi. Hope he gets a paycheck, but I guess it'll be wait and see for me on this one. I still got to see the other one though, which I'm not too excited about due to its apartment setting.
Nah, I know you like apartments.
Yeah, they're all right.
Yeah, Demons 2 is set in an apartment. That's fun.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But I watched the trailer for this. Didn't really do much for me. Like you said, it didn't really show much to get excited for, to be completely honest. I did not see Evil Dead Rise. Did you see that?
I like that one, yeah.
You like that? That's Lee Cronin, the guy who's slapping his name on The Mummy now.
Yeah. That's true. I hear that his new Mummy movie is very Evil Dead-like, which makes me intrigued.
Yeah, I didn't see Evil Dead Rise, so I don't have a ton invested in this. Maybe I'll go watch Evil Dead Rise, and if it floats my boat, then I might be a little bit more interested in this. But yeah, right now I'm kind of with Sean. Let's let the evil dead lie.
Yeah. Well, I got some nerd news, and it's a little bit of a distribution update on that movie Iron Lung that came out not too long ago from YouTube guy / now film producer Markiplier. The guy gave some updates this week about his plans to get this on home video, not only just for digital purchase on YouTube, which he's working on right now, but also on home video in physical format. It says here that he is also working on a kind of a marketplace, what's called an aggregator for YouTube, that will allow other creators to publish their films through YouTube. I guess right now, the way that YouTube works is like you or I could upload our own videos, and YouTube will monetize it themselves and never share any of the profits with you who did all the hard work. Or if you actually wanted to make money, you could maybe set up like a affiliate program that goes through all this sort of rigmarole, or you have to go through like an actual film studio. So like when you go to the movies tab on YouTube and you see movies there, those are going through actual, distributors. But it seems like Markiplier is going to become his own distributor, and in doing so, open the floodgates for other creators to utilize his distribution on YouTube. So that sounds exciting. I guess TBD on the details for that. But also he announced that he had purchased a Blu-ray and DVD authoring machine or machines, and has been pressing Blu-rays in his own home. So I don't know anything about this guy or his movie, honestly, but apparently if you watch Markiplier videos on YouTube right now, you'll see those Blu-rays being pressed in the background of his other videos. It's happening live right behind him at all times. So that's cool. I'm glad that there's a guy out there who is of the digital generation, of the streaming generation, who recognizes the value in home, media and says, hey, I'm going to make my own physical media. Considering guys like Netflix with their billions of dollars don't even make the effort to do that, I think that's pretty cool. So shout out to Markiplier for that. But did you guys see Iron Lung? Do you have interest in Iron Lung, or at least any interest in this guy kind of becoming his own sort of publisher and distributor?
No, I haven't seen Iron Lung. I don't watch this guy's YouTube. My nephew loves the guy. So like my nephew, who's like 15 years old, is a big fan. So I think that's more his audience.
Yeah.
He's from Cincinnati. He's a Cincinnatian. I know a couple.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He comes from Cincinnati.
It's true. The Iron Lung thing was big here. He was here for a lot of the like premieres, and they played it for weeks at the Esquire, the theater I go to. And yeah, by all accounts, seems like a cool guy. Like you said, he's not that young. He's 36, so he's not like a 20-something. But
his success came through these streaming platforms, which you would think that maybe he would lean only into that. But guy likes Blu-rays, I guess. Yeah,
and yeah, that's cool. So yeah, it seems like he's doing some stuff. But yeah, I like I said, I don't know much about the guy. He seems like I'm too old to know much about him. But yeah, I got no problem. I haven't heard shit about this movie either, so it seems like something like that I don't necessarily need to check out. But respect to him for doing his thing.
Would you agree, Bowman, that it seems like this guy is doing some things, as Kevin put it?
I mean, I don't.
He's making moves.
Yep.
I've never watched this guy's YouTube stuff. I haven't seen this movie. I would watch this movie, I guess. I've never heard of the video game.
He is a very handsome man, if that does anything for you, Bowman.
It does. Of course it does. Okay. But the one thing I do know about him, which is why I like him, is that I think I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, maybe I'm wrong, I guess, so maybe I shouldn't like him, but like, I think he put a bunch of money into the Friday the 13th video game when it was being crowdsourced, and he like really helped get that game made, from what I understand. So I owe that son of a bitch my life, because that's the goddamn greatest video game anybody ever made. So, so if that's all I know him for, then I love him. And all the rest of this, fighting for physical media, that's icing on the cake.
All right. Well, yeah, a man of many stripes out there doing things, Markiplier.
Yeah. Apparently he has an OnlyFans too, and all the money goes to Cincinnati Children's Hospital. So go check out his penis.
All right.
Now the penis also comes from Cincinnati.
Yeah, and it's also animated in puppet form.
Does it speak French?
No, only English.
I'm out.
Oh, I actually have a clip here of his penis talking, actually.
Sounds just
my
like
slimy
him.
pussy is full of bones and animals.
While we're talking about, genitals, I figured it was on topic.
You just have the genitals folder open.
Exactly. At all times.
All right, well, while we check the genitals folder for more drops that we can use, we are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we are going to get into our first movie of the evening, and that is Tickle Me from 1965. So stick around.
I've always been afraid to try this thing on myself, but I'm curious to find out if it can make your dick muscles bigger.
I got a dirty, dirty feeling. Dirty dealings going on. I almost hit the ceiling when I woke up and you were gone. I took you in when you were hungry, and now you're cutting out on me. I'm gonna help you, little darling. That ain't the way it's gonna be. I hear you're pretty good at running, but pretty soon you'll slip and fall. That's when I'll drag you home with me, girl. I'm gonna chain you to the wall. You know I'm looking for you, baby. I ain't gonna take it laying down. I heard that you were cooking, baby, way on the other side of town. I got a dirty, dirty feeling. Dirty dealings going on. I almost hit the ceiling when I woke up and you were gone. I got a dirty, dirty feeling. Dirty dealings going on. I almost hit the ceiling
it's Elvis as a singing, swinging cowboy. A rodeo-riding, bronco-busting champ. Oops. Whose job is wrangling fillies on a dude ranch, where the little girl with the big eyes is a cowboy's dream.
Such an easy question. Why can't I get an answer?
The ranch boss, a gal who usually gets what she wants.
I thought this was going to be strictly business.
Oh, I mean business.
I've heard of this happening to secretaries before, but this is ridiculous.
We're gonna love our whole life long. 'Cause baby, it feels alright. How can it be wrong?
When Elvis sings, dude ranch dolls drool. But their buckaroos are spoiling for a fight. Leave it to Elvis to find a ghost town with real live ghosts.
What'd I tell you?
It's your imagination.
It's no use, Pam. He's too smart for us.
He's a hard-hitting hombre, and the kind of guy that brings a ghost town to life.
The Panhandle Kid.
You just did what I made you do. You love me and I love you too. So if the way they talk can bother you, I put the blame on me.
Is it all real, or is it a dream?
Rider, since you stole her out of sight, I ain't had a peaceful night. Night rider, won't you let my baby be? Come on, send her back to me.
Welcome back to Junk Food Schlitzy. The first movie we're talking about here is Tickle Me from 1965. This is directed by
Tickle your ass with a feather.
Tickle Me Ass with a Feather. That's the name of the movie. We're directed here by Norman Torog, who did quite a number of Elvis movies. This is an Elvis movie. He also did Blue Hawaii, Girls, Girls, Girls. He did It Happened at the World's Fair. A lot of other... he also did Dr. Goldfoot and the Bikini Machine, a good movie that
yeah,
I don't think we've done on the show. We probably should at some point. Yeah, he did a lot of these kind of silly little movies. This is a movie that I picked because a couple of years ago, I watched an Elvis Presley movie just sort of on a whim. I watched Viva Las Vegas, and I liked it. I thought it was fun. I'm not really an Elvis man. I don't really care for his music. I think he's kind of a buns hole, but I don't know. He's like a big American figure, and he's kind of a blind spot for me to a certain degree. So, I tried him out. I think it might have been after I stayed at whichever hotel was like the one he died in that he had a residency in. Like there was like a bunch of his shit around, and I was just like, well, I should find out more about this Elvis guy. So, after I watched that movie, I also watched a movie of his. Let's see, what was the name of that fucking movie? It was called Clam Bake, which kind of a boring movie, but had like a really fucking spectacular party musical number scene where everybody's like in like on like a Florida beach or like in the Everglades or some shit, and there's like alligators and like there's like a guy like dancing around and singing while fucking brewing up a pot of gumbo and like just all this like crazy shit's happening. And that scene fucking rules. So the rest of the movie sucks. But anyway, so I've been wanting to watch a little bit more of these Elvis movies. And I picked this one just kind of out of a hat.
Tickling so much.
I do love tickling. Also,
is a central theme of this movie, right?
I don't think anybody ever gets tickled in this entire movie.
I have no idea why this movie is called Tickle Me, Bowman.
Yeah.
Me neither.
And how they resisted the urge to call it Tickle Me Elvis, like the Elmo doll.
Well, that's a good point. But I mean, one thing I did notice about I watched the trailer for it, and the trailer really talks up kind of the end of the movie, which features monsters and stuff. So I thought more of this was going to be monster based. So that, and the fact that it co-stars the main lady from Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Mm-hmm. Julie Adams.
Julie Adams. I thought there was going to be a lot of monster stuff going on in here. She's also in a movie.
The other lady is in Playboy magazine.
Yeah, the other lady who is incredibly tan, just wildly tan. Julie Adams also is in a movie that I know you've seen, Sean. It's called Black Roses.
I have seen that now. Yeah.
Now you've seen it.
As of a few years ago, I had not seen it before.
Yeah. But anyway, so Elvis in this movie is a singing rodeo rider. And he goes from town to town to apply his trade. He goes at the beginning of this movie. He's driving through Joshua Tree, actually, which is, I think, pretty coincidental timing. And I thought it was fun. He takes up a residency at some bar in the middle of the desert. And on his first night, he gets into a fight with a guy because a guy there, his girlfriend, flirts heavily with Elvis because Elvis is very attractive. He has a nice singing voice.
Yeah. This will become a running theme in the movie. Elvis will sing and then immediately get into a fight because the ladies get too horny.
Yeah, that's pretty much the formula of the movie, and probably most of Elvis's movies.
And something that we can relate to as podcasters. I mean, we've all had the experience of women getting too horny from our podcasting voices.
I think that's probably true. So he gets into a fight. He's fired, but luckily somebody there, I think it's Julie Adams, if memory serves, offers him a job working on their ranch out in the desert.
As long as he's okay with working for a lady, which we know damn well Elvis would not be in real life.
Not one bit. He only worked for weird cowboys.
That's right.
Generals or colonels. So he goes out there. The rub, though, is that it's like a spa for ladies. So there's all these ladies out there doing jumping jacks and doing aerobics.
Wait, this ain't no dude ranch?
Not at all.
Well, I love the fact that it's like supposed to be like a fat camp for, rich ladies. And Elvis is like, they don't look so bad. He's like, well, you're seeing the after. You should see the befores.
Yeah. All these ladies are working out there. They all fall in love with Elvis. He sings them songs from time to time. But the one he falls in love with is Jocelyn Lane, I think. There's a lot of ladies in this movie.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one. There's kind of a funny, silly montage in here where like Elvis is trying to like be with her and like trying to express that he likes her. And she's like, oh yeah, I know that you've got eyes for all the ladies. And there's like a montage of like him flirting with ladies and ladies flirting with him. And then she sees it and is just like, oh, you. I like that. I thought that was a funny montage. A lot of the songs aren't really that great. I think this is the only Elvis movie, or maybe the only Elvis movie up to this point that did not feature new music. It was all previously recorded stuff. So maybe that's why, like, they just didn't put a lot of effort into the songs being picked or something. Or maybe I just don't like Elvis. I don't know. But like, yeah, some of the songs are kind of whack.
That was like a cost-cutting measure from what I read by Allied Artists Pictures, which released this. I guess they were like on the verge of bankruptcy, and this was the only movie that they ever did with Elvis. But yeah, this movie, I guess, kind of saved them for a couple more years from going out of biz. But yeah, as a cost-cutting measure, they didn't record any new songs, just used old Elvis tunes, which I think was the last time Elvis ever did that for a movie. Did not care for that.
Yeah, because like I feel like a lot of Elvis's most notable songs come from movies.
Yeah.
Like Jailhouse Rock, Viva Las Vegas, stuff like that. So, Blue Hawaii. So yeah, kind of odd. Or maybe those movies are named after his songs. I don't know. I don't know that much about Elvis. But yeah, then this movie takes a turn. Elvis leaves. He goes onto the rodeo circuit for a while. There's some kind of weird ass subplot about treasure. People show up to the spa to try to like get a lady's treasure from her. And then somehow or another, they end up at a haunted house at the end, and it turns into a Scooby-Doo episode. Kind of a weird, because this movie has like a pretty consistent through line of working at the spa for like 45 minutes, and then just kind of fucking goes off the rails.
Yeah.
It becomes like 4 different movies for a while.
It takes a left turn after that luau.
Exactly. Yeah, it gets a little weird. I don't know. This is all right. I don't think this is as fun as, I mean, maybe it's better than Clam Bake, although there's not anything as fun in this as the big moments of Clam Bake, and it's no Viva Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas is very fun. But I think this is all right. I don't know. It's a little kind of like just slapped together, and it shows. But I think Elvis and Jocelyn Lane have fun chemistry. There's like a lot of foxy ladies, a lot of foxy like 1965 ladies, which is a style of foxy lady you don't really see too much anymore. A lot of short shorts, a lot of like silliness. Apparently this is like, I mean, this is kind of like, there's like a lot of like silliness in this, which is apparently pretty rare for like an Elvis movie from what I read. Like real goofball stuff is happening in this. Like there's like that bellboy who's like just a straight up goof 'em ups. And even Elvis gets a little silly in this. So a little bit atypical.
Especially when it gets to the haunted house stuff, it gets very silly.
Yeah, that stuff is all super silly. So yeah, so like, I don't know, that's kind of fun to see. I don't know, it's got like a real, you know, I don't know, kind of like a Scooby-Doo episode for a while. And then before that is just like kind of some old-fashioned fun. So I don't know, I thought this was fun. Nothing groundbreaking or anything like that, but what do you guys think?
I had never seen Tickle Me before, unlike Black Roses, which I have seen before. But like you, I'm only a medium Elvis guy at best. Although I was excited to see here another movie from the director of Strike Me Pink from 1936, that Eddie Cantor musical that we reviewed on Junk Food Supper a long time ago. This guy, Norman Taurog, it looks like, directed countless numbers of old-time musicals all the way back from the 30s and onwards, and seems like the kind of guy who would, you know, like the Andy Daly Comedy Bang Bang theater director character, probably say goyles instead of girls, you know? And those are the kind of guys that I like making these kinds of movies, the guys that would say goyles. But sadly, this is not a big budget studio musical like the guy used to make. You know, a director at MGM in the 1930s could probably say, you know, something like, hey, I've got an idea to shoot something, and all I need is 400 blonde girls who can all dance the Lindy Hop. And, you know, before they could finish their sentence, I'm sure the producers would have the shot set up for them. You know, in the 1950s, at the low-budget Allied Artists semi-studio, you know, in post-war America, I don't think the guy is getting the same kind of treatment. And it shows here, you know, the musical numbers are not that great. It also feels kind of like Elvis himself is maybe a little bit past his prime, which is crazy to say because dude is only 30 years old here, but he did to me look kind of washed up in his performances. I don't know, is he pilled out or what's going on? But even like standing around these like middle-aged actors who are like, you know, feigning interest in his performances, even there he seems kind of flat. The music itself, like the songs, didn't really appeal to me that much. I don't know, maybe Homeboy just looks better in black and white. Maybe that's a thing, because his like waxy skin with the jet black hair in this movie made him kind of look like a mannequin walking around on screen. And I don't know, he seems like he's sleepwalking through this. All that said, there is a yoga class in this where a girl in short shorts points her ass directly at camera and bends over for a long time to touch her toes. And, at that point, all my regrets about spending $3 to rent this dissipated. And also, this is one of those movies where it is set predominantly outdoors, but filmed indoors in a studio soundstage.
Very
And
unconvincing matte paintings.
Yeah, but I like that, to be honest. There's something kind of cartoonish and colorful about that, where you've got the fake sand floor with the cacti that they've kind of arranged around the frame. And yeah, those bad matte paintings. Almost good enough to fool you for a second, if you don't look too closely. And I don't know, there's kind of a surrealism to it that I enjoy. And this is also still the time period where movie costumes are being chosen primarily for their ability to showcase the diverse range of colors available on Technicolor film. And so you get that as well. Everybody's wearing the most colorful costumes imaginable, and I like that. But as a movie, I don't know, I couldn't believe that this thing was only 90 minutes long. It felt like it stretched on forever. And the plot is just, I don't know, it feels like something brain dead concocted for children, like an episode of The Brady Bunch or something. The best part probably is the end, where they're just recycling Abbott and Costello meet the monsters gags, just like Scooby-Doo and many others would do later on. But at the same time, those are also the kind of gags that do require a gifted comedic performer. And we got Elvis, so he can't do those things. I mean, he actually does pull off a couple of pretty impressive pratfalls, where I was like, oh, wow, dude, just kind of fell flat on his back and made it look good. But overall, I don't think this is the right kind of movie for Elvis. I don't think this is the right kind of movie for Norman Tarag. And I think maybe Allied Artists was punching above their weight when they tried to put together what should be a big budget studio musical for the biggest musical star in the world. But, it wasn't the worst thing. I do like this kind of aesthetic overall. Although I would say if you want something with this aesthetic that is also a good movie, check out Annie Get Your Gun from 1950. It's a movie about Annie Oakley and Buffalo Bill that is, similar in that it's like a Technicolor comedic musical Western. But that one works, I think, a little bit better. But I did want to shout out Jocelyn Lane real quick. Jocelyn Lane, the girl that Elvis falls in love with in the movie, at this point is the only credited performer in the movie still alive, since I guess Ed Faulkner died last year. So if you were wondering who is still available to sign your DVD copy of this movie, it is her, Jocelyn Lane. While you're at the table, maybe slip her a copy of the 1966 September issue of Playboy magazine, in which she also appears. Interesting life, this lady. She does this movie, then she does Playboy, then she marries and divorces a prince of Spain. And in later years has been selling handcrafted jewelry in California. So shout out to her, interesting life. But yeah, this movie, I don't know, it was kind of dumb.
Yeah, I, like you guys, I'm not a big Elvis man, which is actually kind of surprising. And I could see myself becoming more of an Elvis man as I get older. But I didn't really grow up with him. Most of his music doesn't do a whole lot for me, like you guys mentioned. But I appreciate you picking this, Parker, because I do feel like I've been wanting to get into more of the Elvis movies, because they do seem like they, in the Venn diagram of things I like, overlap with a lot of fun things, just the 60s Technicolor aspect of it, the hot babes, the fun sets, the ostensibly old-timey rock and roll. So I feel like there's a lot to like in these Elvis movies, but like you, I've only seen a handful, and most of the ones that I've seen, I've only caught bits and pieces here, like on Turner Classic Movies when they'll show up, or just, back in the day when they used to pop up on TV from time to time, I would see them. But yeah, I don't have like a lot of attachment to the Elvis movies, but I feel like now, like I said, as I'm getting older, it seems like it's something that I would want to do a deeper dive in. So I appreciate getting to see Tickle Me, a movie that, like you, I never even knew existed until now. Its title didn't really ring any bells. It wasn't one of his like more well-known ones, but yeah, I agree. It's not a great movie. There's a lot of silliness to it. It's, exactly what you would expect from a Elvis movie where he's just surrounded by a bunch of horny chicks and he's doing songs, getting into fights, fighting off chicks, do another song, fight another dude, fight off some more chicks. But then, like you said, it takes a real left turn in this hillbillies in a haunted house fucking third act, which was pretty wild. It is a Scooby-Doo plot where it's not real monsters. It's guys trying to scare people to gain access to an inheritance. So it's like henchmen in masks, but some of the masks are pretty fun. They're not, these aren't Jack Pierce level monster makeups. They are, I think, off the rack Halloween masks in most cases. But fun ones nonetheless. A 1965 Halloween mask is something that I'm always happy to see on screen in HD. And it's got that fun, like you said, kind of Abbott and Costello, Scooby-Doo style, haunted house, Ghost and Mr. Chicken comedy. And I thought that was fun. But really the star of the show, if there is a star of the show besides Elvis and his, his good looks and his rockin' tunes, are the babes in this movie, and they are plentiful. Like you mentioned, the female star in this, Jocelyn Lane, is very foxy, and she's rocking that like midriff shirt through most of this, and hot pants and 60s go-go boots, and just looking good. Julie Adams as the matriarch of this ranch that everyone's at, always fun to see, and a pretty meaty role compared to like what she had to do in Creature from the Black Lagoon, which is basically just look good in a bathing suit and get carried off by the creature. Actually kind of has a little bit of character in this one. There's a luau scene, which I really loved as well. You get to see some old school tiki stuff and Hawaiian shirts, and that's always fun. I didn't know if this came before or after Blue Hawaii, so I'm guessing it was maybe, kind of calling back to the Blue Hawaii stuff. But yeah, you get Elvis karate chopping dudes in the neck. Some of the songs I didn't mind. They weren't like, I'm not going to run out and buy the soundtrack to this or look up which Elvis albums these originally were on, but I didn't mind most of the tunes in this. They were, for Elvis stuff, pretty much what you'd expect, but nevertheless pleasant enough. And like you said, just kind of the overall corny, Technicolor, teeny bopper vibe of this, while still subtly sneaking in, like you mentioned, some real shots of bent over butts. I don't know. I thought this was fun. This is a perfect Sunday afternoon watch, which is when I watched it, just laying around the house. And I enjoyed it. Like you guys said, it's not going to win any awards. It's not a groundbreaking film by any means. But for silly, Elvis-y fun in a colorful setting with some hot chicks, it's not a bad way to pass 90 minutes on a Sunday. So I recommend it.
Yeah, I think Sunday afternoon is the perfect time to watch this movie. Silly stuff. Kind of fun. That wraps it up for Tickle Me on my ass with a feather.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're
tickle your ass with a feather.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about more movies, so stick around.
I'm a fan of Japanese movies.
ブラッディーズな新曲「パパイヤ軍団」よろしくお願いします。いいですか？
はい、オッケー。
いかがかしら、セクシーでしょ。見て見て私のこのポーズ。
Welcome back to Junk Food Dinner. The next movie on the show tonight is Diva in the Netherworld from 1980. This is a low-budget horror movie from director Takafumi Nagamine, a director who I've been wanting to get into, and not just because most of his other movies are about Keko Kamen, who is a naked lady superhero that uses S&M techniques for fighting, but also because he seemed like a dude who was kind of ahead of his time in terms of producing ultra low budget genre movies in Japan. I feel. Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to ask before we get started. I was kind of curious. Was this a made-for-TV movie, or do you know, like, is this like a straight-to-video? Because it doesn't seem like it's a theatrical film, just based on its runtime.
Yeah, it's an hour
and general
long.
Vibe.
It's an hour long. It's very cheap. It's very out there, I would say. Feels very singular. There's only a few actors in it. So, yeah, it doesn't seem like something that was made for a theatrical run, and I don't think it was. I'm actually not fully sure. I do know that it did play briefly, at least, in at least one small theater in Tokyo. But I think it was probably primarily intended for home video. Much like things like Tetsuo, the Iron Man would later be produced for small sums of money and have very small theatrical runs, but then later make most of their money on home video. I think that was kind of the case here, but this is pretty early to be doing that. 1980, the home video market is very small, even in Japan. Not a whole lot of people producing movies specifically for home video. There was kind of a later movement in Japan that people call V-cinema, with titles like Crime Hunter in the year 1989, where big studios like Toei specifically targeted the home video market and made cheaper movies for that market. This is different in that it seems like it's pretty much outside the studio system entirely. I think it was financed.
That's why I was kind of thinking made for TV, but yeah,
could be.
I don't know.
There's not a whole lot of information about the movie online, unfortunately. Right. And not a whole lot of people have seen it. I came across this, I think, on a list of movies that featured Japanese pro wrestling. And it does to some extent. And so it's been on my Letterboxd list on my watch list for a long time, but I wasn't able to get a good, clean copy with subtitles until very recently. And so that's why I ended up picking this. But it is a weird one, and it's very DIY, very handmade kind of aesthetic here that I think was pretty new in Japan at the time, and we've got a lot of things like, deliberately fake-looking models for establishing shots, a video quality that is kind of washed out, but also kind of like colorful in a weird way. We've got music that is very lo-fi and maybe Casio driven, but also is kind of cool. Things that I think kind of, will foreshadow the shot on video horror movie market in the United States that would come later than this, I would say. And again, 1980, very early, I think, to be making this kind of movie. But before I spoil the plot, because I think this is the kind of plot that could be spoiled, I came into it not really knowing much about it. I just wanted to say I do recommend this movie. I think it's really fun. I think if you like movies like Haozu, the Japanese house movie, I think it would be very much worth your time to check this out. Would you guys agree with that, just in brief? You think people who like House would like this?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. The few things I was able to find online about this, most of it did compare it to Haozu, and I can see why. I mean, it has a lot of elements, the young girls kind of in a haunted house scenario. It has some of the kind of whimsy of Haozu with like also incorporating like horrific elements. So yeah, it definitely feels in that same vein.
Yeah. And, the story itself is kind of a standard plot that we've seen in a million movies. It's the typical car broke down by the spooky old mansion setup, from like Rocky Horror Picture Show, and probably from Abbott and Costello, Meet the Monsters too, for all I know. But in this case, the stranded travelers are two young pop star singers from a singing duo called the Bloodies.
Yeah.
And they're also joined by their manager, and they've taken to touring the countryside instead of the city for some reason that I'm sure is funny and fully justifies it. But
yeah, he says that like the fans are much more dedicated out in the country, and their manager's really trying to sell it to them on the drive out there.
Yeah, and makes sense to me, I guess. But the two girls in the group are named Mickey and Donald, or at least I think that's like their stage names, which is fun, I guess, for two pop singer girls from Japan. One of them is a retired pro wrestler, which we learn later on. And we also learn later on that they're vampires, which is why when they break down by the spooky old mansion, the madame of the house lets them in, but immediately starts conspiring to kill them, which of course leads to the incredible line of dialogue.
Why are they fighting Dracula, for God's sakes?
That we all remember. We also learn that the singer's manager is a werewolf. And by the way, both of these things are very surprising. The fact that the girls are vampires and that the guy's a werewolf kind of come out of nowhere. But there's more surprising revelations, including the fact that there's a very large stop-motion dinosaur who lives at the spooky old mansion. So he gets involved in the antics as well. I would even say that he's kind of a kaiju, but I think there's maybe some consternation on the podcast as to whether or not that's true.
Well, first of all, he's a dragon.
Yeah, well, dragons aren't kaijus.
But they are dinosaurs.
Incorrect.
Oh,
yeah, also incorrect.
Two totally different things.
I don't know about that. I'm pretty sure that I've seen a T-Rex breathe fire.
What?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You've never seen
You sound
that?
like one of the weird Christians I see in like the who invades the atheist Facebook groups.
Yeah, of course. The Earth is 3,000 years old. Dragons are dinosaurs and kaijus at the same time. One thing that we can agree with is that he is stop motion.
The stoppiest of motion.
Which I'm
more stop than motion, I would say.
Okay, but I mean, given the budget, which I'm presuming was like 100 yen to make this,
yeah,
I think they did all right. There's also a butler at the house played by famous comedy actor Akira Oizumi. He's a funny guy with a funny face who you might recognize. He's in like a lot of TV commercials and stuff. So maybe you've seen him playing opposite Arnold Schwarzenegger in some Boss Coffee ad or some shit like that. Anyhow, there's a lot of funny tone shifts, silly acting, and goofy little low-budget moments, like the appearance of a large white serving plate at the dinner table causing the Wolfman to transform into a wolf because it looks like a moon. I like that kind of stuff. There's other sight gags in this, like the giant fried egg that they make from the kaiju's nest, out of the egg from the kaiju Hanako's nest. But yeah, I mean, like I said before, if you like Haozu, I think you will like this. It's not as good as Haozu, but I wouldn't expect something this low budget and presumably quickly made to be that good. I still think it has its own admirable sense of weirdness, and not just in a way that is like specifically aping Haozu. I think it does have its own style. And if you like city pop music, Japanese pop music from this time period, I think you might enjoy the handful of original pop songs in the movie. I certainly did. If you like Japanese wrestling from this time period, there's, a mild connection, and you get some nice close-up shots of people reading wrestling magazines from 1980. If you like silly Japanese monster movie stuff like Daigoro versus Goliath or 1970s Kamen Rider, I think you'll probably love Hanako, who I think honestly rules. And anytime Hanako showed up, I got pretty jazzed about it. I like that they give him these introduction, like little title card things where it's like statistics of Hanako as if he was like a fighter in Punch-Out or something, like his height and weight and all that kind of stuff. It also kind of reminds me a little bit of the 1974 Japanese surrealist drama Pastoral, To Die in the Country. It's got kind of elements of that. And elements of like black box pornos, like Night Dreams, because some of the scenes in this just have those backdrops that are just fully black curtains, but there's weird shit happening. I don't know. I thought that the story itself was pretty surprising, and prepare to be surprised by it, I guess, if you're going to watch this, although not now that we've spoiled everything. But for 60 minutes or so, I was not bored watching this, and I found myself interested not only in what would happen next, but like how this director would convey what was happening next. So yeah, I thought Diva in the Netherworld was a lot of fun. But what did you guys think about this weird 60 minutes of 1980 Japan?
Yeah, like most people on the planet, I had never heard of this before. But I was intrigued looking it up before watching it for the movie and finding out that it was a, fairly obscure, but kind of had a cult following for people that saw it in Japan in the early 80s. And yeah, had not really had any sort of presence in the United States, but thanks to the internet, had recently gotten English subtitles. Because I think up until, like you said, even a couple years ago, there was no subtitles to be had for this. So if you wanted to watch it, you were SOL. And I don't think it's ever really had an official release outside of VHS that I could find.
There was a 2014 DVD release in Japan that I think was like super limited, and I'm not even sure if it was like official. But the subtitles that we enjoyed this week are just totally fan subs. So
right.
Thanks to whatever fan did that.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, I mean, it's hard not to draw immediate comparisons to Haozu because it does have a very similar vibe. It also does the same thing that Haozu does, where you can't really tell if this is for kids or not. I mean, for all intents and purposes, you would think this should be for children with the stop motion dragon and some of the more silly elements of it, but other parts of it seem like it's definitely not for kids. Like, I mean, even like there's a scene where the two pop stars are, kind of wrestling around in bed, and one of them's like, "Get off me, I'm not a lesbian." And it's like, well, I thought I was watching a kids movie here. So yeah, I don't know what the intended audience was for this. And like I mentioned, I was always also very curious, like what the intended original format for this was. To me, it struck me as like a made-for-TV movie, but who knows? Maybe it was straight to video, but it definitely doesn't seem like a theatrical film just based on the budget, the runtime, and I don't know. It felt very TV to me. And I think even the aspect ratio is, TV, right? But that could have just been from the home video transfer that we were watching. But nevertheless, this was pretty entertaining. Much like Tickle Me, this does have very cheap werewolves in a haunted house setting. So they did feel like spiritual cousins. And I thought maybe I had been iced out of some weird werewolf haunted house theme that I wasn't aware of. But nevertheless, the stop motion dragon, I really wanted to like it because he is like front and center on the video art that I saw. And he, who doesn't love stop motion and a dragon? I'm all about it. But yeah, it was pretty rough. Like I mentioned, very low budget stop motion. And stop motion, when it's not done, I mean, this looked like Gumby. You know what I mean? It was very rough stop motion. But and they didn't limit the stop motion, the very shitty stop motion, just to the dragon either. Like there was a scene where the car was like supposed to jump over a ravine or something, and that was done in very cheap stop motion.
But I think deliberately cheap. Like I don't think that they thought that they were fooling anyone, right? Like,
right.
I think that's part of the style. It's like, look at this. It's kind of cute and handmade.
Yes, I agree with that. But that cute and handmade also goes to like a lot of the effects in terms of like the manager that turns into a werewolf. It's very crude and kind of homemade, and even like the vampire stuff, very crude and homemade. And they kind of turn into like these vampire superheroes towards the end of the movie. And again, very cheap costumes and things like that. So yeah, it definitely feels like a much lower budget Haozu with some fun elements to it. A lot of city pop, which is cool. I enjoyed that. In fact, I was just mentioning off air how I had seen some Godzilla movies at a tiki bar recently, and they were playing a lot of that Japanese city pop in between the films, and that I was digging on it. So it was nice to hear some of that in this. I loved reading the hilarious translations of the lyrics to some of those pop songs, because I think there was definitely something lost in translation on some of them. But yeah, overall, a cute little oddity from early 80s Japan. Again, kind of baffling who the audience was for, what the original venue was for this. But yeah, if you're looking for some weird semi-kids entertainment from Japan from the early 80s, I think this works. And it's definitely weird enough where I can see why this has kind of a cult following. I can imagine if you saw this as a kid, there's a lot of movies like this that we've talked about on the show where it's like, if you saw this as a kid and then like never saw it for 20, 30 years, you might think it was like a fever dream that you just remember seeing on TV when you're a kid. But so if you caught it as a youth in Japan, I can imagine having a lot of kind of cult nostalgia for this. But going into it as an adult in America in 2026, there is a little bit of that, curiosity factor. But for the most part, as much as I'd say check it out if you're into this kind of weirdness. But there were definitely quite a few times during the brief runtime that it did feel like, all right, let's get to the next weirdness, which fortunately you didn't have to wait too long for. But I don't know, not something that I really latched on to, other than just like, what's the next weird thing I'm going to see?
Well, luckily, I think a high percentage of our listener base did catch this in Japan in the early 80s growing up. So I'm sure that they will all be excited to go back and revisit this.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like Japanese movies. That's what they say about me.
I thought you happened to be an opera fan.
Well, you can be both.
By the way, in the description on IMDb, they describe these ladies as opera singers, which I find.
So I happen to be an opera fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very strange. I saw no evidence of opera being performed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Same. Yeah, I had also never heard of this. I don't know. I don't know how much more I have to add than what you guys have covered. It's like Kevin said, you're not going to get enthralled by like the deep characters or, the flashy effects or anything like that. But yeah, like just to kind of be like, oh, a Dracula now. Oh, a Wolfman now. A dragon now. Like that's kind of why you would watch this. Just kind of see what kind of wacky stuff they're going to throw at you next. The musical numbers were fun. I thought those were pretty fun. I preferred those greatly to the ladies walking around a big old house quietly searching for things, as that's my least favorite thing that happens in the movie.
I thought you were going to compare these songs to the Elvis songs.
They're pretty different.
Okay, but you can still like one more than the other.
No, I like them exactly the same.
Okay.
They're just very different. But they're fun. They're okay. I guess, they're about the same. They're too different to compare. I don't know. The dragon, he's kind of dorky. I didn't care for him. So there's, I don't know. You guys covered it all.
We're only 1 for 3 on Hanako? How can you not like this dumbass dinosaur dragon kaiju? I call him a kaiju.
Nah, you're not a kaiju. Not even close. I don't know. He was kind of dorky. Like he just kind of like didn't fit in with the rest of the movie or something. Like he just seemed
it
like
does kind of feel like maybe that was like footage from another project that didn't get finished and that they kind of just cut in.
100%.
Yeah, very much so. I like the beginning part with where they're driving around in the car and like kind of some of the weird, goofy, cheap effects with the car. That's fun. I like the werewolf and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. This was even at an hour long. Like if this was like a normal movie length, I probably would have lost my mind.
Did you like Haozu, by the way?
Oh yeah, I like the Hausu.
Okay.
The Hausu
the
is
most important comparison point. More so than Elvis music.
Yeah. Hausu is fun. But yeah, this is, outside of like kind of seeing all the crazy stuff, this is, there's some stretches in here that are pretty boring. And, outside of like just the kind of like brain rot of like whatever they throw at the screen that's weird, like there's not a lot to latch on to. But yeah, I don't know. It's okay. It's all right, I guess.
Okay, all right. I'm a little bit surprised. I feel like this is a movie waiting to be discovered. It's got, I think, like less than 250 views on Letterboxd. And I know it's not a movie for everyone, but I think I think a large chunk of our audience will enjoy this. And I think anybody who's into kind of weird Japanese comedic surrealism will find some stuff in this. And the fact that it was made seemingly for no money, again, I don't really know anything about the production of the movie, but you just look at this and you're like, well, this was made for no money and clearly came from the mind of one person, even if that one person was ripping off Hausu. Very distinct. I don't know. And that's what I like in movies, is a movie that feels like only one person could have possibly produced this. So I guess I will check out those naked lady superhero movies that this director made in the Kekko Commons series. And I'll report back to you guys and let you know how I enjoyed those. But until then, that probably wraps it up for director Takafumi Nagamine and Diva in the Netherworld. But we will take a quick break and then come back to talk about Pin from 1988. So stick around.
Things are feeling thin. Well, I know. I lost my seat again. Well, I'll go, pushing in the pen. Well, I know. We're gonna go back in. We're gonna go. I like to sleep with them, pushing in the pen. I like to sleep with them. Well, I know. We're gonna go back in. We're gonna go. We're gonna go back in. We're gonna go.
Pin is the one and only friend Leon's ever had. The only one who doesn't care that Leon's different.
I must be crazy to be here tonight. I defended you. Boy, was I dumb.
You never had secrets from each other.
Only Pin knows Leon's darkest secret.
Leon?
Hello, Marshall.
Oh my God.
When someone hurts Leon, Pin hurts them. When someone tries to come between them, Pin won't let them.
I don't think Aunt Dorothy will be staying with us for very long.
What do you mean?
Might take her a little while to feel the vibrations, but I think she will.
If you want to get closer to Leon, you'll have to take care of Pin before Pin takes care of you. Is Pin a friend?
No. Oh, please.
Or an enemy? Only Leon knows.
What have you done? What have you done?
What am I gonna do?
Pin. Some friendships die hard.
Welcome back to Junk Food Dinner. The final movie we're going to be taking a look at on the show this evening is Pin from 1988 or 1989, depending on how you classify these types of things. But this is an often overlooked psychological horror movie made in Canada, directed by Sandor Stern, who I think this is his only theatrical directing credit. He was mostly known as a writer and mostly in the world of television, although he did write the screen adaptation of Amityville Horror. That was probably his biggest credit up to this, but he had worked on things like, Ironside and the Mod Squad and writing episodes there, directing episodes of television and television movies. But he really liked this novel Pin that came out in 1981 by Andrew Niederman, and he wanted to make a movie out of it. And one of the reasons he liked the movie is because before becoming a writer and director, Sandor Stern had gone to medical school and had almost become a doctor, and he liked the doctor elements of this and thought it would make a weird movie, and it sure did. So the basic premise of this movie is we've got a household headed up by Dr. Frank Linden, played by Terry O'Quinn, of such things as The Stepfather, and he was later John Locke on the Lost series. But he is a doctor in this small kind of Midwestern town, and he's got two kids, David and Cynthia. And when the movie starts, they're young kids, and he has this practice in town, and he has this very weird medical dummy that he uses to kind of teach his children patients about, anatomy and stuff, but he also uses it to teach his kids about anatomy and health and stuff like that. And he does so by talking through ventriloquism as the dummy, which is known as Pin, hence the title. And it's weird because the voice of Pin, when he's, being ostensibly, what I don't know what the word there is, but he's being spoken by the doctor.
I like ventriloquized. I think that was the right way to
go. He's done by a different actor, and it's kind of got this weird kind of monotone thing to it. But the kids think Pin is real, and they think that it's not their dad doing the voice. It's because he is a very good ventriloquist.
But they do show, the audience sees, the lips moving on John Locke.
A little bit, yeah. But
they're not trying to hide it from us.
No. But the kids are fully invested in this. Even mostly the boy, Leon, who is very taken by the Pin character and is traumatized when he goes to talk to Pin one day and sees one of the nurses at the doctor's office use Pin, this medical dummy, in a sexual act. And I think that kind of warps his brain. Then we cut ahead to when the kids are a little bit older, and the good Dr. O'Quinn is teaching his kids about the birds and the bees, of course, using Pin. And we get a sense that the daughter, she might be a problem later because she seems very interested in the idea of sex.
You might say that she's very Pinterested.
Very Pinterested. So then we cut ahead to when they're teenagers, and now we see that David or Leon is
getting larger
and getting more obsessed with Pin and talking to him on his own without his dad, and believes that he really is like sentient and giving advice. He's also becoming more and more protective of his sister, who is, as predicted, getting more kind of sexually promiscuous, and she ends up getting pregnant, which again, she's like supposed to be 15 in this scene, and then has to go to her dad to like have an abortion done, which, you know, what's weirder than having your dad perform your abortion? Very strange. And again, the whole time, this Leon kid's getting weirder and weirder, more attached to his sister every day. And the whole family is just weird with this fucking medical dummy. But when Terry O'Quinn finds out that his son is talking, he walks into his office to retrieve something for a conference, sees the kid talking to the dummy, and realizes, oh, I've turned my kids nuts by using this ventriloquism dummy, or this medical dummy, using ventriloquism to teach him about life. And now my kid's a total weirdo. So in a panic, he takes Pin out of the office, tells the kid to get lost, and he's so flustered with what he's just seen and he's so late to this medical conference that he's driving erratically and ends up crashing the car with his wife in it, killing both of them. And so then David and Cynthia are orphaned, but I'm using the actor's name. Leon and Ursula are orphaned, and Leon goes and retrieves the Pin medical dummy from the car crash. And so now they've got an inheritance. They're living on their own, but their aunt shows up to spoil the fun. And now Leon has gone full nutcase with the Pin dummy, and he uses it to, let's just say, get rid of the aunt character, and then tries to use the Pin dummy even more to get rid of other people in his life that he doesn't find fitting for his sister, like her new boyfriend. So a series of deaths happen with the Pin dummy being used by Leon as his method to the madness. Yeah, this is a fairly notorious movie that I feel like I've heard about for a while. I think a lot of people caught this on home video back in the VHS era, and if you did, you probably remember it as a pretty creepy movie. I think this movie has some genuine creepiness. While it's not super gory or really over-the-top violent, I mean, there are some death scenes. I think what most people recognize is just how kind of uncanny and weird this whole story is, centering around this medical dummy that just by looking at it is just kind of weird. And they really play into that creepiness and really play up just the creepiness of this family. And, you know, the mom's a kind of a nutcase as well. She's a real clean freak. And like I said, the dad, despite being a doctor, is also kind of weird in his own way. Again, using this medical dummy to talk to his kids. It's just a strange scenario, and you have a general sense of kind of creepiness and unease throughout the whole thing. This movie, unfortunately, is pretty hard to come by these days. It was one of the last, if not the last movie released by New World Pictures. It was originally supposed to have a theatrical release, but because New World Pictures was on its way out at the time, it skipped the theaters and went straight to video in 1989. And then after that, it had a DVD release 25 years ago that has since gone way out of print. and hasn't popped up since. There has been some overseas DVDs and Blu-rays over the years, but in the United States, that 2001 Anchor Bay release, I think, was the last time we saw this disc. And like I said, that's long out of print. I don't think it's really streaming anywhere, and I don't think a lot of people, like I said, really remember this just because it's kind of fallen out of out of circulation. But I think the people that do remember this kind of have that uneasy feeling about it. The movie starts with a pretty fun scene of these kids seeing kind of the dummy in the window and, speculating on if it's real or not. And just that whole kind of creepiness around the medical dummy is kind of omnipresent and gives this movie, I think, a very weird feel to it that I think is pretty palpable. So I don't know. It is a strange movie. There's a lot of weird scenarios in this. Like you wonder if this is going to get incesty for a lot of it. The guy that plays Leon is David Hewlett, is very over the top and very creepy. Yeah, I don't know. I just think I just read about this in a list of like kind of 10 horror movies that you've probably never seen or underseen or underrated horror movies, and had heard about it for a while. I think Mike Dick might be a fan of this one, or has mentioned they did it on Kissing Contest perhaps, but always wanted to see it. So excited to get around to this one. I liked it. I thought, like I said, adequately creepy, some fun performances, and just kind of an unhinged film from start to finish. So I enjoyed it, but I'm interested to find out what you guys thought of Pin, A Plastic Nightmare.
Well, I have also wanted to see this Plastic Nightmare. I do recall the Kissing Contest guys talking about it a long time ago, and I think that's probably how it got on my radar. Also, I think it's fun that this is like a real like supreme movie for like, like if you're watching TV and you really like an old guy on a very popular TV show, this is the movie for you, because as you mentioned, Terry O'Quinn from Lost is in it, and then Jonathan Banks, who plays Mike Armentrout on Breaking Bad, is the voice of Pin. So this is a real confluence of all the best old guys on TV, or the two best at least, I suppose. Not all of them are here, but so that's cool to see. Two fun old guy character actors in this movie. And I guess you don't see Jonathan Banks in the movie, but he's there. And yeah, it is. I think the first half of this movie is a lot better than the second half. I think losing Terry O'Quinn, spoiler alert, or you already spoiled it. In the second half, like, you lose a lot of steam because nobody's as good as Terry O'Quinn in this movie. So that's a bit of a bummer. And then also, like, you really think, once you get to that point where that happens, where, Terry O'Quinn is seeing that his kid is going a little crazy from talking to Pin. And, I like the ambiguity in that. Like, it's either like, oh, this guy's like taking my ventriloquism act too far, and like, I've kind of fucked him up, or, you can kind of read it. Like the two ways to read this whole entire movie is like either Pin is alive, or that everybody around Pin is a little schizophrenic. And so,
either it's a Chucky or it's a Norman Bates,
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, and even like the side characters are a little nuts. Like, who's fucking a medical dummy like that nurse does? Like, what's going on here? What's going on in this weird little town?
Yeah, she puts it on top of her. You'd think if you're going to have sex with a medical dummy, you'd get on top if you were a lady. But I think putting the medical dummy on top of you is a sure sign of mental illness.
Well, and also, just because this dummy was like anatomically correct enough for them to do like biology lessons, I don't think he's packing a boner, right? So is she getting down on like a little soft nub? Like, what's going on in there?
Yeah, I think she's just pretending that he's got a boner.
Yeah, that's not going to be, satisfactory.
Hey, sometimes you just want to hump a doll.
I guess, but maybe my standards are higher than this lady's. I would hope that the doll would at least have a raging boner for me.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, so when it comes to that point, Terry O'Quinn, I like the ambiguity that he's either, he thinks he's like fucked his kid up, or he sees his own weird mental illness in the kid and he gets freaked out. Because like I think Terry O'Quinn also, or his character also has, like I feel like he kind of thinks that Pin is alive to a certain degree too. Or maybe not, because like everything in this movie is so ambiguous. But that's the way I took it, is that like he sort of thinks Pin is alive, and then when he sees his kid like fully believe Pin is alive, he's like, no, I can't pass this weird believing Pin is alive bullshit onto my kid. I got to get rid of this fucker. And then I like that scene where Pin might be alive in the back of the car and he might not be. I thought that was done really well. And then from that point on, you really think that things are going to amp up. And I mean, I guess they do to some degree, but like, I feel like that's the most like exciting and climactic scene in the movie. And then from there, like, it's kind of an anticlimax. Like, it really even kind of feels like two movies to a certain degree. Although I think that's probably on purpose. Because I mean, I feel like this is probably very influenced by Hitchcock, and I think they're kind of doing a Psycho by getting rid of, two main characters and then kind of starting fresh at the halfway point. But or it's possible that that's just like a very literal adaptation of the book.
Yeah, probably. But also, I think it serves as like, now Leon, the son, now that the dad's gone, he has full reign to be as nutty as he wants with this fucking doll.
Yeah, that's also true. And then
he can really go murderous with it,
Yeah. And can really start dressing him up and putting weird latex skin on him, like this straight up weirdo. Yeah, it's not. I mean, I think this movie probably would have benefited from a better director, because it is like really flat. Kind of plays out like a TV movie in a lot of parts, and I think this guy probably did a lot of TV movies.
Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah,
it's also Canadian, as is the director.
Oh,
so
yeah,
that could add to the flatness.
Yeah. Because like a cool visual style, like probably would have helped this out a lot. I mean, especially since the main character is an inanimate object. So yeah, having some sort of a better visual style could have helped to like conveyed a little bit more of, the weird mental trauma going on inside the one kid's head. Leon's head. But yeah, it's like very perverse. I want to read this book now. I feel like the book's probably a lot better than the movie. Because like there's just like sort of so much going on here, and it's like very psychological. And like I said, none of it's really conveyed super cinematically, but I like Pin. I think he's a cool guy. And yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I mean, anything that's even like remotely sort of like psycho-y or Hitchcocky, I'm going to enjoy to some degree. So, I like all this weird psychosexual craziness going on in this movie. But it is, it is a little flat. I don't know. It's just like, it needs a little oomph somewhere along the line, but I do think this is fun. This is enjoyable.
All right. And just to clarify, your pin is still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, yeah, of course. Why would I change it to the classic pin?
Excellent. I'd never seen this movie. Title didn't ring a bell. I don't think I really ever heard anybody talking about this thing. So before watching it, I did go to the very defensively written Wikipedia article for the movie. That's definitely authored by the director himself. And I noticed that this aforementioned director is the guy that made this movie Assassin in 1986 that I have not seen, but I would say has maybe the best poster for any movie ever made. It's this weird Terminator ripoff looking movie, and I just love this poster for Assassin. So he had that going for him, this Sandor Stern. And I also noticed on Sandor Stern's Wikipedia page this interesting fact. 3 of his 4 sons formed the successful LA hardcore punk band Youth Brigade. It's kind of interesting. 3 of his 4 sons formed Youth Brigade, Sandor Stern. So that got me kind of interested. And, I thought maybe it'll have some cool punk rock music in it. It doesn't. In addition to not having any exciting visuals, I don't remember there being any exciting music in this. And that might have helped a little bit. But I saw that it also had Terry O'Quinn, John Locke, and that, had me hyped. I would consider myself to be a fan of John Locke. But as the movie started, I don't know, it just seemed pretty dumb right away. Like these weirdly repressed teens who call their dad father all the time are not really the kinds of people that I can relate to at all. And I thought they were just kind of annoying in this movie. And
certainly not. I don't think anyone would want to relate to the people in this movie.
No, but then what am I here for? And there's very little for me to hang on to in this movie. Especially after John Locke is out of the picture. Pin himself looks okay. I guess it is kind of creepy, but I wouldn't say it's like the most incredible dummy for a horror movie that I've ever seen. And I don't know. I really hated these two kids so much, and I think probably their presence in the movie, really did hold me back from enjoying it. There was another interesting credit, though, that I noticed on Wikipedia, where I spent a lot of time while this movie was playing in front of me. The writer of this, Andrew Niederman, I guess is best known for writing The Devil's Advocate, that would later be made into a movie with Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves. But also in 1987, he became the ghostwriter for V.C. Andrews following her death. And if the name doesn't ring a bell, she's the lady that wrote Flowers in the Attic, another seminal work of youthful incest.
Right.
And this guy Niederman has spent decades since then cranking out like hundreds of books in the Flowers in the Attic series. I didn't even know that was a thing, but it is, and there's like hundreds of them. And they all get weirder and weirder and grosser by the volume, it seems. So I guess if you're interested in weird incest stories, this Niederman guy is probably your guy. Not exactly my interest, though. But I did, enjoy seeing Montreal on screen. I think that's something that we rarely get to see. And it is kind of interesting just in the sense that we're like very late in the home video horror movie cycle. And much like kind of in the late period Western cycle, they start trying new takes and new concepts. And, they had made every zombie movie that they were going to make. And now it was time for a killer medical doll movie. And I'm glad that they tried it, even if I don't think that it works in this case.
Well, you see, the medical doll is not the killer.
Well, but they kind of play it up that it's going to be, right? I mean, he's on the cover. I think that they are trying to play him off as a Chucky for at least some of the runtime.
Yeah, I think you could make a strong argument that Pin has something to do with Terry O'Quinn and the wife's death. Like, it's pretty ambiguous. Like, I think you could read it that way, that he's somehow alive.
Yeah. In any case, they took a swing. Didn't work. I could only imagine if this screens at like a rep theater today that you've got a packed house full of people laughing at Pin every time he appears on screen, and he's supposed to be menacing. I don't think that plays, especially today. And the movie overall, it's just kind of glum. There's really no special effects except for bad ventriloquism. Other than Terry O'Quinn, I think all the actors are inexperienced and unlikable. So, yeah, I thought this was real boring, but I guess an interesting swing.
All right. Well, I think it's a lot of atmosphere, and I think it's a lot of mood, which you might miss if you're on Wikipedia for most of the movie. But
fair.
I think it's worth checking out, especially if you like Terry O'Quinn. You've seen the Stepfather films, and you want to see him in another unhinged fatherly role. I think it's fun, and I think it is. I think the medical doll is sufficiently creepy. So. And
just don't expect any Draculas or any werewolves or any kaijus or any music or anything fun.
Well, no one said the medical dummy movie was going to be fun.
Fair enough.
But yeah.
It is a nightmare after all.
It is. It is a plastic nightmare. But yeah, I think that just about wraps up Pin from 1988. We are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we are going to teach you the birds and the bees using an anatomically correct dummy. So stick around. Alright, well that just about wraps up episode number 698 of Junk Food Dinner. We'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and listening. If you like the show, you can visit our website, junkfooddinner.com, for all of our previous episodes of not only Junk Food Dinner, but also Junk Food Supper, the weekly episodes where Parker and Sean dive into a single film and dive into each other's hearts. So if you like Junk Food Dinner and Junk Food Supper, you can find them both at junkfooddinner.com. If you'd like to stay in touch with the podcast, the best way to do so is on the Junk Food Dinner Discord. If you're in Discord, look for Junk Food Dinner. Come on in and party with all your Junk Food Dinner friends. Talk about movies, music, TV, sports, whatever. We're in there. We're having fun. So hit us up that way. If you'd like to let your voice be heard, let us know what you thought about the show, what you thought about some of the movies we talked about, or make a suggestion, or whatever else you want to do. Give us a call on the Junk Food Dinner voicemail line at 347-746-JUNK. That's 347-746-5865. You can also send us an email at jfdpodcast@gmail.com. But where's the fun in that? Let your voice be heard. Next month on Junk Food Dinner, we are going to be taking a look at Hot Times, a.k.a. A Hard Day for Archie from 1974. We'll also be looking at Josie and the Pussycats from 2001 and Lake of Illusions from 1982. So make sure you tune in for that. That should be a lot of fun. So until next time, this is Kevin Moss for Parker Bowman and Sean Byron saying adios, everybody. We will see you next time.